Are you bored of watching Tiger King? What if I told you I had an equally exciting story? I'd be lying to you. My story's not as exciting as Tiger King, but it does have a really big cannon, and that's pretty cool. We can't travel very far in space at the moment, but thanks to archaeology, we can always travel through time. And when we're travelling through time, we can meet the people who live there, and we can learn about them. Here, I'd like to show how we can use archaeology to think about how people thought about time. Join me now at a mysterious bunker deep in the woods. Before the age of smartphones, timekeeping was a real problem. Watches and clocks were still luxury items that most people in Kendal couldn't afford, and while the BBC would eventually start producing time signals, most people didn't even have radios. So Kendal's town clock, notoriously unreliable, was the source of time for most people in the town. The jeweller Edward Rhodes was responsible for every Monday going to the post office to find out the official time and adjusting the clock so it was the right time again. But the post office was often quite slow at getting these time signals out, and this would often lead to arguments between the jeweller and post office staff. In 1872, one of these arguments spilled out into Kendal's main street, and after that it was agreed that another solution to timekeeping was needed. Funds were raised for a time gun, which sat right here, to be fired at 1 o'clock every day so that people could set their watches by it. The cannon would have been fired from where I'm standing now, this way. There weren't any cannonballs in it, but they loaded up to 3 pounds of gunpowder at a time. That's about 1.5 kilograms. So the noise would have been phenomenally loud. You would have heard it all across the valley this way. The gun was fired not by someone standing here, they would have been deafened, but by electric signals. Originally these were sent up from London, where they kept the official time, but this was really expensive. So once again, Edward Rhodes was put in charge of firing it from Kendal. There's a nail salon next to where he used to fire it. This bunker was built to raise the cannon off the ground, and also to store fuses and all the gunpowder the town needed. It's also a pretty nice place to shelter from the rain. And that's how people in Kendal knew what time it was. At least for a little while. The gun was melted down for scrap metal at the outbreak of war in 1939, and by that time most people could afford a watch or a radio anyway. But the bunker's still here, an impressive reminder of how archaeology can teach us not just about cool cannons, but about how people thought about time. I don't live on a tiger farm. I live in a small town in northern England, and so my story is always going to be quite personal to me, but I hope you do care about it. Firstly because big cannons are really cool, and also because this wasn't just a cannon they fired, it was a way for everyone in the town to come together, to mark the middle of the day, to have this shared understanding of time. And I think that's really special, and it's something only history and archaeology can show us. Also, of course, loads and loads of towns had these time guns. Kendal is by no means special or unique in having a time gun. Loads of settlements did. Some big cities like Edinburgh in the UK still do. I was once scared witless in Oslo, where every lunchtime at midday they fire 12 cannons to mark 12 o'clock. That was quite scary if you didn't know what was going on. But unfortunately, with the exception of these big cities, the time guns are now gone. And in a way, it'd be really nice if we could try and bring them back. Do let me know below if your town had or still has a time gun. I think they're really interesting, and they're something that a lot of towns, especially in the UK, had in common. I think it'd be really nice if we could get them back. As I say, in the age of smartphones, they're not necessary, but they're quite nice in a way, and they're good fun. Thanks for watching.